Free Guy is a new movie that's not based on a sequel, a prequel, a spin-off, and it's not based on some pre-existing IP. So refreshing to see that. However, is it actually worth a watch today? I was lucky enough to see this film early, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts right now. Hey everybody, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm sending you all positive vibes your way. But if it's your first time here on the channel and you guys want to see more early movie reviews, movie reactions, and hangout live streams where we talk about movies, then this is the place for you. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really shows your support. And don't forget to hit that bell notification button so you do not miss a single video. And don't forget to check out my partners at Movie Scene Canada as well. Their link will be in the video description box below. But today, I'm going to give you my honest, no BS, non-spoiler review for Free Guy and tell you if it's worth a watch. So we have Free Guy, directed by Shawn Levy, and you know him from his work on the Night at the Museum trilogy, The Internship, Date Night, Cheaper by the Dozen, Real Steel, and movies like that. It stars Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Taika Waititi, Joe Keery, amongst others. And it's about Guy, played by Ryan Reynolds, and he's a background non-playable character in this Grand Theft Auto type open world online video game. However, when he meets a player named Molotov Girl, played by Jodie Comer, he realizes that I don't want to be a background character anymore. He's always wanted something more in life. He always wanted to meet the girl of his dreams and to experience life to the fullest. So he decides to help her on her quest to find the secret area in the game, or else there will be real world consequences. But of course, Guy does not know that he's actually part of a video game. And Free Guy will be released in theaters on August 13th. But is it worth a watch today? Absolutely. This is the best movie I've seen all year. And actually, out of all the new movies that have come out during the pandemic, this is my favorite. Really, it's my favorite. It was entertaining. It was funny. It was creative. It was imaginative. It was heartwarming. It was very well written. It was emotional, and I left the theater feeling inspired. That's everything that you'd want in a science fiction, action, comedy, fantasy film. And there's a love story in here too. Remember those? Remember those genuine love stories that just kind of hit you in the feels? Yeah, Free Guy has all of it. Now, if you wanted to use the blender example, this movie is Truman Show meets the Lego Movie meets Ready Player One. Put it all in a blender and you have Free Guy. And while sure, this movie reminds me of other big movies like those movies I just mentioned, but it's an original idea. It's an original movie that's not based on anything. And this movie even has a meta element to it because there is a section in the movie where, Free City, that's the name of the game that Ryan Reynolds is a part of. And Taika Waititi's Antoine, he's the one who created the game, and he wants to create Free City 2. Bigger, better, new characters, not backwards compatible. All right, guys, dish out your money. You need to get the brand new game. But Joe Keery, who works on the game, is like, well, don't you guys think that, people want to create a new game? People want to play something brand new? And Taika Waititi's like, no, the one thing that matters is brand recognition. And he does this joke about Kentucky Fried Chicken, which is really great. But it's so meta, and it's so true about Hollywood today. We don't want to see this brand new movie that's not based on anything. We want to watch another Marvel film, another Star Wars film, another sequel, another spin-off, another prequel, another film in a cinematic universe. We don't want to see anything new because new is scary. But sometimes new, like Free Guy, can be really, really, really great. Now, I just want to say this real quick, and again, most of you guys will get mad at me for even saying this, but when I got out of the press screening, I heard some people talk about how it's like, oh, this movie will do nothing for society. I'm thinking, yeah, it's a blockbuster about video games. It's not supposed to do anything for society. It's supposed to be just a well-made movie. But they said, this is another movie where you get the white heterosexual lead, male lead, I should say, gets the sexy female white love interest, you have the black friend, and then you have the foreign bad guy. It's a bit of a stretch there, I will admit. So if those things bother you, right, if you need your movies to be ultra woke, then Free Guy might not be the movie for you. But if that stuff doesn't really bother you guys, it doesn't bother me, then yeah, keep watching this review because I'm going to tell you why I like this movie. It felt genuine. That's a good word for this movie. It felt genuine, and there's a love story in it. And I'm thinking to myself, when have I seen a love story in a blockbuster that actually made me care about the characters? I watched Star Wars The Force Awakens again recently because I'm going to Galaxy's Edge. Cannot wait. But Rey and Finn, they're flirting back and forth. He's like, got a boyfriend, cute boyfriend. And I'm like, oh yeah, they are setting up this kind of love plot. But no, Finn gets in the friend zone, right? There can't be any love between the main characters, right? That's so old school. And then like a movie like Bumblebee, right? When the guy tries to hold Haley Steinfeld's hand at the end and she's like, nope, friend zoned. I'm like, there's no love in movies anymore. And a movie like Jungle Cruise, yeah, there's a love story in there, but in my opinion, that felt so forced. Here it felt genuine. It felt really wonderful to see. And I should also mention that Disney has bought 20th Century Fox, which is now 20th Century Studios, and I think before this movie was released, Disney went back and added in some scenes in this movie where they could use their IPs. And in Canada, when we watch a movie theater with a bunch of people, it's generally pretty quiet, right? But at the press screening, it was a packed theater, and when those scenes came on where we see a Disney IP come on screen, the whole theater clapped and cheered. And generally, I'm not really a big fan of when that happens because I just want to internalize and just watch the movie, but it felt great, and I really think that those scenes are going to get a lot of people out of their seats. I also want to talk about the soundtrack because most of the time in movies, you put in a pop song because it's like, oh, that's a popular song, the kids will know that. But in this movie, it felt like it fit the mood, it fit the story, it was tongue-in-cheek, and it had me singing a little bit, right? Underneath my breath, I was singing the songs, I was tapping my foot to the beat, and whenever a movie can do that, I know that I'm having a good time, and it doesn't feel forced, like, Suicide Squad or something like that, where it's like, oh, I know that song, why is it in here? But in here, it really feels like it fits the mood in the story. But on a technical level, the screenplay was tight. It was extremely well written. There were setups and payoffs, and everything felt established and earned. There wasn't that one scene where it's like, oh, let's just introduce this now because we need to get out of a sticky situation. And it's like, why in the world is this here? But every single character had a motivation. They felt developed. They felt earned. It was really well written. And the comedy had me laughing. A couple times in these big blockbusters, I'll chuckle, and sometimes the humor feels like it's going very lowbrow for the lowest common denominator. I laughed out loud many times in this movie, and it's not all just Ryan Reynolds. He's great in the movie, he's always funny, but a lot of characters have a lot of great moments in this movie. And speaking about the amazing cast, of course, Ryan Reynolds is great. He's lovable, he's quirky, he's charming, he's charismatic, he's very heartwarming, he is a great lead. And of course, Joe Keery and Jodie Comer, they're also great in this movie as well. But Taika Waititi, I think he really steals the show as well. He is your funny villain, but he's also intimidating, right? Like I've said in many videos, if I can look at the villain and I'm like, how can we defeat this guy? Then we've got a good villain on our hands. If I'm looking at a villain, I'm going like, oh, he's not threatening or she's not threatening, we can defeat them easily. Then there's no tension, there's no drama. In this movie, there actually are some stakes. There's some personal connection with the villain that makes you hate him. He's a really great villain. He did a great job in the movie also. Just a great job from the entire cast. But the reason why I'm giving this movie a 5 out of 5, spoiler alert, it's because this movie made me feel like a kid again. It made me remember why I love movies in the first place. And I was having a conversation with one of my best friends the other day. We were at dinner, we were at the Keg, and we were talking about the movies that we'd seen recently. And he asked me, he's like, Brandon, like, you're the movie expert in our friend group. Are movies just sucking nowadays? Are we just getting older? Are we just, losing touch with the magic in movies? And I'm thinking, you know what? The movies that have come out this summer, all the other YouTubers, all the other reviewers seem to love them. Black Widow gets a ton of great reviews. Jungle Cruise gets a ton of great reviews. The Suicide Squad. And I'm like, I don't know, guys. Like, they're okay. They're good, I guess. But they don't really stick with me. Like, I know people who have seen The Suicide Squad in theaters 5 times. And when I saw it, I'm like, yeah, it's a superhero film. We get so many of those. I'm kind of done with superhero films. Jungle Cruise, I feel like this movie was made in a factory. It didn't feel genuine. It didn't have any heart. And I'm thinking, like, am I just losing touch with myself? Like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to review Hollywood movies that are just bland and kind of boring? Then Free Guy comes out. I watch this movie, and then afterwards, I'm like, I want to go home. I want to write my review. I want to film my review. I cannot wait to tell people about it. I felt energetic. I felt alive. I felt uplifted. I felt inspired. And I'm like, I forgot that movies could do this. I've just been seeing so many mediocre movies, and people like them. That's totally fine, but I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, and I'm finally glad to say that a movie has hit me as well as Free Guy did. So for me, it's a 5 out of 5. I cannot wait to tell people about this movie. I want to buy this movie on 4K. I want to buy the merchandise. I am a Free Guy fan, and I really hope that this movie does well. Because if it does, it tells Hollywood that audiences want original ideas. Yes, video game world, sure, a lot of, references to things. Yes, this movie isn't entirely original, right? Truman Show, Lego Movie, Ready Player One, all put in a blender, right? there are no real original ideas, right? Even Star Wars back in the 70s have taken things from westerns and samurai films. Like, I get that, right? There's only 7 stories to really tell, but it's not a sequel. It's not a prequel. It's not a spin-off. It's so refreshing. I was laughing. I was emotional. It was so exciting. Free Guy is awesome. Best movie of the year so far. No Time to Die could take that away, you know. I'm hoping for great movies. I'm hoping that a movie can just come across my table and just completely blow me away, right? I hope that every movie does that. But for right now, in August 2021, Free Guy is the best movie of the year. In my opinion, of course. BrandoCritic approves. Free Guy. Go see it. You will not be disappointed. But what about you guys? Have you guys seen Free Guy? Am I just out to lunch on this one? You know, I'm sure there's someone who will watch it and go like, this movie's terrible. It always happens, right? But for me, I'm so glad that I have a movie now that just makes me feel inspired and alive. That's new. It's really great to say that. But of course, guys, if you guys like this video and you want to see more videos just like it, then definitely hit like and subscribe. I really do appreciate all the support, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.